Thank you, Tandy. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us in this webinar. Today, we're going to talk about Unanet's success packages. For those I have not already met, I thought I would take just a few moments to give you an idea of how I came to be at Unanet. You might be surprised to know that I have a master's in computer engineering, and throughout the missile defense industry, I'm considered a radar modeling and simulation engineer, a process engineer, and a data analyst, or at least I had been for the last 24 years. Throughout that 24-year career, I've also found myself responsible for government contracting, project execution, team management, contracts oversight, among other demands. In 2009, while at Decibel Research here in Huntsville, Alabama, the Pentagon of the South, I was Vice President for Program Management and Contracts and implemented Unanet in association with Deltek GCS accounting package. This was done to rid our organization of numerous error-prone spreadsheets, provide company-wide access points to our overall project portfolio, to monitor staff utilization and availability, to guide and support all project managers in the organization in program execution, and support a nearly weekly requirement to construct cost proposals. We went live with Unanet in October of 2009. At the annual Unanet customer meeting in April of 2010, and then again in May of 2011, I presented the experience of our initial deployment and the resulting project management processes that I found myself designing around the Unanet system. In 2011, I moved to Aegis Technologies, a company of 325 employees, and became their Director of Systems Engineering and Analysis. On the day I arrived, I found myself surrounded by the same error-prone spreadsheets as before and began marketing for the Unanet system there as well. In November of 2012, Aegis went live with Unanet in association with Deltek CostPoint. At the annual Unanet customer meeting in May of 2013, I introduced the Unanet community to the concept of refreshable web queries and came back in March of this year to present an efficient and systematic approach for ensuring successful execution of cost-plus efforts. Once again, this was based on the project management processes and senior level reporting I developed while at Aegis. I'm also the original founder of Huntsville's Unanet user group, HUG, a local community for sharing and advancing Unanet's best practices appropriate for Huntsville area businesses. It was through HUG that Venturi Aerospace, another Huntsville-based Unanet customer, asked Aegis if they could contract hours of my time to assist them. Venturi wanted to design and train their PMs on muscle memory techniques for efficient management of fixed price, time and materials, and cost-plus efforts. From October of 2013 through June of this year, the Venturi Project Management Organization and I built standard practices and operational manuals for the regular oversight of all Venturi direct projects. We also trained all PM staff on shared report definitions and dashboard construction, and ensured Unanet content was being provided to the regularly held program management reviews. It was shortly after this that I was introduced to this book describing the emergence of a new concept in the industry. The authors termed this business for business, or B for B. The authors had studied the technology service industry and recorded the ongoing transformation as the customer-supplier relationship was changing. This new relationship hinges on the concept that the supplier must understand and respond to the outcomes desired when the customer acquires a technology-based support product, a category that includes systems like Salesforce, Rackspace, Google, Amazon, and Unanet. In response to this, Unanet is now offering a new component in its portfolio of service products that addresses this emerging transformation in the market, and I joined Unanet this past August to lead this effort. In short, Unanet believes that we can provide a greater service to our customers, being among the leaders in this transformation. Before we go into what exactly a success package could entail for your organization, it is important to understand that the cornerstone of this offering is the shared commitment between our customers and Unanet to focus efforts on customer desired outcomes. At present, we do believe that this shared commitment is most likely associated with a desire to deploy and maintain a world-class project management system, including real-time reporting, actionable metrics, systematic and repeatable processes for your PMs, and effective, efficient data communication across the entire organization. And frankly, I'm quite fortunate to be in the position to take my current knowledge of the industry, past efforts to drive towards these exact outcomes as a previous Unanet customer, the relationships and interactions I have had with other Unanet customers, my understanding of the Unanet system, and the direction that this B for B concept has now codified to be able to use all of this to deploy this new opportunity for Unanet customers. It really is a perfect confluence of factors. The key here, of course, is to maintain this shared commitment so that both Unanet and each of you can find that perfect marriage of Unanet capabilities with your unique business practices. This is what the success packages are all about. Now, as you already know, Unanet has been active in providing tremendous support to its customers since its very inception. In fact, as a customer myself for 2 different companies, I was often the immediate benefactor of that support. So how is the success package different than that last call or email that you made to your customer account manager or Unanet support? Let's take a closer look at that. Without a doubt, success packages will complement the current efforts of customer account management, Unanet support, the Knowledge Center, and other online resources by being deeply engaged with a premier set of customers. For these customers, we would create a custom success package built around the key features you see listed here. Where possible, Unanet would be directly embedded in the company's PM organization with regular sessions with the COO, project management organization, or other key operational elements to ensure that the enhancements we identify are directly associated with the business actions of your organization. This could translate into being a fly on the wall during project management reviews, being present during weekly dedicated Unanet team discussion sessions, or having regular discussions with the COO or PMO to ensure desired outcomes of the use of Unanet are being realized. To make this successful, of course, requires acquiring and maintaining a deep knowledge of your daily operations, risk exposure, and business practices. We are really looking forward to extend beyond providing single answers to your questions of the day to provide a unified and complete solution that holds together for all of the unique aspects of your business. Honestly, this is not something that can be provided in a single email dialogue between you and our support team. It requires a different type of interaction. This is the success package concept we are rolling out. Our solution, as I've been alluding to, is the persistent involvement with you and your Unanet instance. This offers both of us the continuous opportunity to define a complete solution based on your current business and maintain a forward view towards where your business is headed. Perhaps you're mostly involved in time and material contracts currently, but if you win the next 2 major proposals in your pipeline, you may be shifting towards a more even distribution with cost plus and fixed price. The questions will come up: are your PMs ready for that transformation? Have they developed a muscle memory that easily transitions into this new environment, one that that works no matter the billing type? This is where success packages can lower your overall corporate risk. We also believe, and there's considerable industry evidence to support this belief, that there can be significant value in the background monitoring of your Unanet data by your staff or ours to identify, isolate, and mitigate problems lurking in that data. We can use this technique, for instance, to discover that PMs or program control staff are not following your standard PM process as previously trained, or that they're not monitoring their projects with the desired frequency, even if this is a fairly modest requirement, say twice a month. Here, gaining actionable metrics for additional training or corrective action can have a significant impact on lowering your overall corporate financial risk. And lastly, you no doubt have realized that Unanet is a product that continues to grow and enhance its capabilities. Success packages are designed to monitor these new features and recommend that those that have the most immediate impact to your business process and recommend a path towards their systematic adoption. Now that you have a better idea of how success packages are structurally different than services already provided by your customer account manager or Unanet support, let's take a closer look at what you might elect as components to request in your customized success package. What you see listed here are 4 general categories that we believe cover the vast majority of success package service. In the upper left, you see adoption services. These services are designed to close the consumption gap, to help you identify those features in the Unanet system that you are not fully taking advantage of, but could be benefiting from based on our joint understanding of your business activities. Perhaps it means devising a regular pattern for the use of plan sets, the capability within Unanet to develop, store, and compare different scenarios in order to be ready for changes brought on by future potential real-life events. Perhaps it's simply that in the interest of going live on the original development schedule, you sacrifice the deployment of certain beneficial capabilities like leave accruals, project alerts, grid planning, and the promotion of plans and assignments, or any other capability inherent in your licensed copy of Unanet, but not unveiled for your employees, managers, and senior leaders to use. Maybe you just feel that your employees are not using Unanet reports in the most efficient manner possible. Moving to the upper right, you see managed services. In this domain, we include any service that could be provided via remote access to monitor and respond to items best handled on behalf of your staff. This could be as simple as the inclusion of success package staff on the IMU distribution email list, to be first alerted about IMU errors taking place. By triaging these emails, success packages could reduce or eliminate the time you spend performing forensics related to these errors. Wouldn't it be great just to have the resolution steps developed and delivered directly to you? In the lower right, we describe education services. Unanet recognizes that your implementation was specific to your business practices and that your process guides, training material, onboarding references, and other critical documentation should reflect the specifics of your practices. Your employees should have access to step-by-step references that speak directly to your company's operations. And this material should naturally expand to include emerging features as we continue to close the consumption gap described in the first quadrant. And lastly, success packages can elect to dedicate time for the significant and optimized integration of other corporate resources so that hand manipulation of data is held to an absolute minimum. The solution here entails identifying the systems of record chosen to be the single source of data input and devise and develop data interfaces for all other systems to ensure the correct encoding and decoding of information. Anyone that has heard me speak at the Unanet Champions conferences know that I'm a huge proponent of the efficient deployment of tight system integration to lower your G&A cost and have your staff executing steps that are uniquely human, those that cannot be offloaded to a machine. We simply cannot afford to continue to perform work that could be automatically executed for us. In prior efforts, I've personally extended these linkages beyond the natural interfaces to accounting and HR systems, but also to security and IT and corporate oversight. Where there is data maintained in other systems and desired in Unanet, or data maintained in Unanet and desired in other systems, those interfaces should be persistent and robust. As a provider of these success package services, it's important that Unanet keep a constant eye on the value proposition to you, our customers. Positioned intentionally at the top of these benefits is the consistent, accurate, and actionable data for senior leadership, project management organizations, and corporate indirect groups to support company portfolio decisions. This translates to making sure that our efforts to deploy success packages in support of your interests result in every member of your organization having the correct data, interpretation, and access to be able to make critical and timely decisions. Second only to having actionable data is the need to ensure that actionable data is driving rapid internal business flow within the organization with clear triggers for next step actions. Each business transaction, be it the receipt of a no-cost extension, a new contract award, a new increment of funds, a newly onboarded staff member, or an alert that a project is close to being completed, for instance, should clearly identify what is required to move to the next transaction. This flow ensures that there isn't any ambiguous tasking or tasking going into black holes. By performing the previous two benefits, your company is now ready to reduce the G&A staff actions of responding to report generation or data forensic analysis for PMs, but rather empowering your project managers to be self-sufficient and have all the required details and documentation to support the customer's needs directly. This includes online reporting that is accurate to current day information. It should not be lost on anyone that moving this opportunity to the PMs makes for better decisions, executing closer to the customer, and lowers the G&A burden applied to all of our direct work, thus making our efforts more efficient and economical. The key to a lot of this is the development of a prominent and persistent training program to ensure process execution and accountability for each trained role within the organization. With the proper training and resources, the items above this listing become possible and expected. And finally, once we reach this point of success, we will inherently experience the lower dependence on local Unanet heroes, lowering corporate and project risk should their responsibilities change, and also fundamentally allowing them to be much more mobile to support other career interests within your organization. Having said all of this, I do want to show you some artifacts that represent what efforts included in success packages might actually look like. This slide represents a step-by-step execution of the life of contracted work as monitored by the project manager or project lead. At each of these steps, identified by their green bubbles, the project manager is using standard Unanet processes and reports to act on and validate the actions they are taking to ensure the efficient and correct oversight of the customer's work. It should also be mentioned that these 4 steps, to plan, promote plans to assignments, monitor, and then drive to the final closure, are nearly independent of the billing type of the effort. Steps are intentionally taken to ensure that we are developing muscle memory with the project manager so that they can easily migrate between cost plus, time and materials, and fixed price efforts with the same set of reports and processes. This view, or something like it, customized for your unique business practices, is a roadmap for operational manuals that every PM would follow. The actual training of this process could involve 2 hours and 40 or so PowerPoint slides to ensure all actions and decisions expected along with sample project instances and decision points are made aware. Or at least that's been my local experience. It's also important to recognize that these 4 steps also represent an implementation of PMI best practices found in the project management body of knowledge that some of you may already be familiar with. In appreciation of the very business program manager, project lead, or program controller, we would focus on the minimum number of metrics required to support the entire organizational need. Here are 3 that I outlined in the Rocket City GovCon conference last month that serves all discrete interest in most organizations. Current backlog is measured not just to identify unused funds in hand, but rather to measure the slope of this amount from month to month. This gives a very solid indication of increasing or decreasing execution risk across your portfolio, measured at any tier of the organization. Directorates with increasing current backlog month over month likely have more luxury with respect to repositioning staff around the contracted work, while those that are seeing decreasing current backlog are likely headed to more constrained staff placements. Future backlog is an efficient way to ensure that all unused funds have been planned and assigned for time and expense. This guarantees that all program managers understand the requirements for and have reserved the staff or resources needed to complete each effort. It also ensures that no PM is hoarding unassigned funds, thus guaranteeing that resource utilization reports represent all available awards and their future allocation. Labor category allocation variance simply ensures that for your T&M efforts that have tight controls and little luxury of adjusting actual allocations of labor categories as different than those awarded, that the PM can conveniently identify and mitigate any variances throughout the project lifecycle. And since I'm a data analyst at heart, I am happy to express these concepts in mathematical terms for those PMs needing this level of understanding. As a sample of how this is done efficiently in Unanet, here are two reports. You no doubt recognize the top as a saved task list, where hour and dollar budgets at the labor category level have been acquired from the accounting system of record. At the bottom is the project periodic forecast report showing the labor category actuals through previous timesheet and assignments into the future. The comparison is made against the contracted budget, and the variance is uncovered in the Business Specialist 2 labor category for contract year 1. This variance will be added to the future assignments to ensure that every available hour of this labor category will be consumed. Other variances are similarly addressed for the cost plus and fixed price efforts to ensure that the future backlog is zero or near zero for all contracted work. This is a step that can easily be accomplished with an assignment forecast grid in 5 minutes twice a month, but has huge dividends in the use of this knowledge throughout your organization. In this instance, we are using a revenue and funding summary report to have one single report monitored by every PM in the organization. Building this regular behavior is the ultimate benefit of the success package efforts to develop solid PM processes built around the Unanet system. Now, it is certainly the possibility that you may need other techniques to identify and focus attention on your actionable metrics. This is a sample of a refreshable web query, a concept described in the Unanet Knowledge Center, where source information from shared and ad hoc Unanet reports are combined in Excel. Using features intrinsic in Excel, the weekly PM meeting can focus on just those efforts nearing pop end or where there is excess backlog and thus necessary actions to take. This promotes the rapid and efficient business flow that we all desire. Once PMs are following standard practices designed and trained throughout the shared commitment of a success package, other metrics and benefits can be realized with no additional burden. The COO can monitor the effective profitability of work completed and work assigned to understand trends in month-over-month predictions rolled up across the entire organization. The CFO can understand what the resulting distribution of overhead pools will look like using all money in hand to understand how this impacts the budget assumptions made at the beginning of the company's fiscal year. It is certainly beneficial to have access to this information throughout the calendar and not just at the end of the year. And the entire executive team can understand the distribution of revenue by billing type, looking at actuals plus forecasted work to make better marketing pipeline decisions and use this information in critical contract negotiations. And lastly, with every PM declaring their intent to have work allocated to distributed members of the entire organization, HR and business development team members can be aware of staffing needs or particular skill targets with upcoming overcommitments or coverage lapses. All because we implemented a solid set of best practices around the Unanet system. I would like to finish this discussion near where we started it. Success packages, the customized effort to assist our customers with their intent to deploy world-class project management techniques, is really just a component embodied within the full set of support services already provided by Unanet. It complements the consulting and customer account management efforts provided to our customers. In short, we have been monitoring the industry trends, or in my case, experiencing these trends firsthand, and realize that we can and should be offering services designed specifically around making sure you are getting the desired outcome of your Unanet system. We hope that you will think about what this could mean for your organization and participate in the discussion with us on how this could be deployed to maximize Unanet for your business outcomes. I'd like to now turn this over to Tandy so she can describe the other support resources you have access to.